Welcome back to Return to Evolution, where we're going through the legendary tutorials of Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution and seeing how we can apply them to Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. Today, Chapter 5, Recovering from an Attack. This chapter consists of 3 sections: 5A, Recovering from a Stagger from a striking attack, 5B, Recovering from a Stagger from a throw, and 5C, Avoiding down attacks. 5A, Recovering from a Stagger from a striking attack. Recommended rank up to first dan. What it is, this introduces you to staggers, which are attacks that have a variable recovery, as indicated by the joystick prompt, and it also shows you how to get out of them by struggling, which is the act of pressing lots of inputs to speed up the recovery animation. Why it teaches you this: throws and guard breaks that lead to staggers are a common response to a defensive player, so understanding staggers in Virtua Fighter is essential in understanding defense. 5A wants you to know that staggers are highly dangerous if you let them rock, and most importantly, they are avoidable, often with predictable follow-ups too. The technique it teaches you here has slightly evolved in Virtua Fighter 5, so we'll cover a slightly different approach to how Virtua Fighter 4 teaches you this. The exercise asks you to take a hit from Jackie and then block the follow-up. If you just try to guard, it's going to hit you, whereas if you use the struggle technique, you can actually block the next attack with a high guard. It asks you to do this successfully 3 times. How to replicate it: in Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, Jackie's step-in middle kick no longer has these stagger properties. A common attack that will hit you with stagger properties, however, is Wolf's low drop kick, so let's see if we can use this technique to escape some of its follow-ups. Record Wolf's low drop kick followed by his hammer kick combination, which is a punch followed by a kick. If you just guard, you'll have no choice but to eat the follow-up combo, as it'll come out before the end of your recovery. However, if you struggle through the stagger, you should be able to guard in time. As covered in the guard breaks video, the correct technique for this is to hit all of the buttons and directions repeatedly, but begin to hold guard when the joystick indicator changes colour to prevent any spurious attacks from coming out, as these could result in you eating an even more damaging counter hit combo than if you'd simply held guard. Practice this mashing technique whenever you see the joystick. It won't get you out of all scenarios, but it will prevent you from taking any unnecessary damage. 5B, Recovering from a Stagger from a throw. Recommended rank first dan or above. What it is, this section teaches you the exact same principle as 5A and is predominantly just making you aware of throws that lead into stagger states. Why it teaches you this? Alongside the awareness and recovery practice, it also encourages you to fight back when you've successfully mashed out of a stagger, often referred to as struggling. When fighting back, it recommends the all-purpose 2P low jab. Not only is this a great option for a lot of scenarios, it suits this situation too. Why is that? Since stagger states are technically escapable, the opponent wants to keep the window for escaping as small as possible, so their stagger setups will likely be followed up with fast attacks, which are generally high. So if you can successfully struggle out of a stagger, your 2P should go under their attack. How it teaches you this: this exercise asks you to be thrown by Lau and then recover from the stagger throw. Once again, if you just hold guard, you will get hit with the follow-up, but if you struggle successfully in between, you can actually block it. How to replicate this: like in the previous example, it looks like Lau is no longer able to pull off this technique in his old age, but fortunately he's passed it on to his daughter Pai, so we'll be doing this trial with her instead. Record Pai's Seian Kato, followed by her Kotan Kyaku in honour of Jackie's earlier kick. Here I'm executing the throw by crouch dashing, then tapping back and throw to execute this, but you can just hold down crouch and then tap back to throw while crouching if you prefer. As you can see, if you're just holding down guard, you will eat the throw and the follow-up here, but the struggle will allow you to recover from the throw in time to guard the kick. As hinted at in the Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution tutorial, if an opponent does put you into a stagger, there's a likelihood that the follow-up will be a high attack, since highs are the fastest, and have the best chance of landing, especially if they're aware that you're struggling out of the staggers. So if you really know the scenario and you're feeling brave, you can consider struggling into a low attack here, rather than guarding, and do some damage of your own in return. 5C, Avoiding down attacks. Recommended rank up to first dan. What it is: in Chapter 4 you learned about exact rising. This part of Chapter 5 teaches you a slower but easier to execute option that's still faster than getting up normally. Why it teaches you this: although it's different from the other 2 sections in this chapter, all 3 sections here want you to know that not all successful offensive situations that your opponent earns will result in you taking your lumps. Good active defense in Virtua Fighter requires you to pay attention even when you're being hit, for opportunities to escape and even strike back. So even if you get guard broken, thrown, or even knocked down, and you miss your exact recovery timing, all is not lost. Once again, the techniques taught here have evolved slightly since Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution, so we'll cover a slightly different approach to getting up here. How it teaches you this: in this one, Akira knocks you down with his sidestep knockdown attack, and it asks you to do the same struggling technique here to get up faster than usual, so that you can avoid Akira's down attack. How to replicate this: 3 for 3, the sidestep knockdown here by Akira wasn't carried over into Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, so instead we're going to be going for the fully charged Yoshi Saiken. which gives a nice consistent window to practice with. Record the Yoshi Seiken at full charge into his Geki Hosyu down attack. Then allow yourself to get knocked down and mash all directions and buttons to quick rise, remembering to hold guard while you're getting up to ensure that you block any stray impact from the down attack. This can be further optimised in Virtua Fighter 5, as mashing all 3 buttons to rise can result in some inconsistent rises, where you might accidentally kick rise or roll when all you want to do is get up. So hitting all directions and just the punch button, then holding guard as you see the beginning of the rise animation is the preferred method here, rather than what Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution was teaching you. Following on from the Chapter 4 stuff, this isn't as fast as the exact rises that you practiced there, but if you do miss exact rise timing and still want to get up as quickly as possible, this is a good plan B. And that's it for Chapter 5. In conclusion, if you do get hit or you do get knocked down, don't lose hope. Active defense is a fantastic facet of Virtua Fighter. It's definitely not a game where you want to just be holding guard and hoping that they drop their combo. You do have ways out of a lot of different things. See you next week for Chapter 6.